everybody. It's Battle School Dropouts, or a podcast about anime and friendship. This is Bakari, and I'm here as always with Stew.
Hello, it's me.
And so I just need to get out ahead of this. I need to just be up front and direct. Okay. Last episode? Or was it it was the Christmas special.
Christmas special was the last one to come out.
Because it's January. Yes.
Because it's January.
Yeah. Okay. So last episode, I said that shrews, so shrews, the small mammals, they would lick toads or some other poisonous amphibian or something like that, and use the venom for hunting purposes. This is incorrect. I used to read a lot of animal facts. That's just a thing I did as a kid. Read a lot of books. I had a bunch of those zoo books and stuff. The thing is, the shrew is one of the very few, if maybe the only, just natural mammals with venomous saliva. However, that is naturally occurring. They do not need to, get their venom from anywhere else. And Stu, I've already told you, so how about you let the audience know, in fact, what small mammal it is that actually licks toads and then uses their venoms?
It's not shrews that do it, it's hedgehogs. Yeah, drink that beer.
It's fucking hedgehogs! It's hedgehogs. Hedgehogs, they lick poisonous toads, venomous toads, whatever. They in turn lick their quills, and that makes them a lot more difficult for predators to eat because they got venom on their quills.
It's just it's particularly painful because if it were a different animal, right? Like if it were a possum,
if it were a vole,
a fox,
who gives a shit?
A fucking monkey, who cares? But it's your animal,
it's
it's your spirit animal.
Now,
of all things,
let me make one thing clear.
This is the animal associated with you.
I think hedgehogs are adorable.
They're great.
Cute little guys. They don't go fast, okay? My allegiance is to a blue hedgehog that he moves at the speed of sound. He's the quickest hedgehog around, okay? Any other hedgehog, with the exception of Shadow and Silver and Amy Rose and Robbo the Hedge and Jules and Bernadette and all the other... Sonic. Yeah,
we all
might
know
forget
them.
That
we all
once
know
in a
them.
while. I need to remind Bernadette because she will listen to this. You share a name with Sonic the Hedgehog's mother in the comic book series. Just need to remind you.
You got to remember that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like Bernadette and Felicia will be on our next episode.
Yes.
But you goofed on that one.
I fucked up,
but it's so good. Well, either way, welcome to Battle School Dropout, everybody, a podcast about anime and friendship. This week, we are talking about the first 6 episodes of Super Yo-Yo.
Super Yo-Yo.
This is the most super drunk I've been for an episode in a while, if that's any indication about how Super Yo-Yo was for us.
I'm feeling fine.
Listen, I'm here for a great time. But before we get into our review and everything of everybody's favorite anime, Super Yo-Yo, how are you doing, Bakari?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I made the worst mistake of my life. I got my animal facts mixed up.
It made for a good YouTube short, though. I know
someone's gonna call us on that, though.
It's fine. No one's gonna call us.
No,
on.
Yeah.
Listen,
it got 56 views in a week.
I know, and it's so funny because at time of recording, there are 2 shorts that are up.
Yeah.
There's one that's about the shrew venom thing, and there's one that's about Karl Marx in an anime.
Yeah.
From the episode with Charlie and Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
And it is funny that shrew episode kind of took off by our numbers.
Yeah.
Right? And the Karl Marx episode, it's at 16, which is fine, but it did not get any kind of promotion by YouTube or whatever. Nobody gives a shit about the algorithm, but we got heavily promoted, that shrew thing. So it's you got lucky that that nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, it just hurts to be wrong on the internet.
Oh, you
and
can't
it's
do
just
that.
There. We can't take it down. That short's tickle. What are we gonna do with it? It's got to stay there.
It is the funny thing, though. I've been listening to older episodes, kind of going back through our old episodes, just remember what we've talked about and things like that. And God, man, I like these newer episodes a lot. And I sound like a goddamn absolute moron on so many earlier episodes. I can't listen to the first episode that John was on, Tower of God.
That was Tower of God.
Tower of
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I can't listen to that episode anymore because of how much I stood up for that show and how much. And then I'm watching the following episodes and just like being like, oh, I'm so wrong.
You know, at that episode 6 point, I don't know if I'd blame you too hard. You know, I think what I said, you know, came out to be true more or less, but like, I could see why you would want to stick up for it at that point. There was definitely potential for it to get way cooler.
Yeah.
It sounds like it didn't. I didn't fucking watch any more of it, but it sounds like it didn't get any cooler.
No, it kind of did the opposite.
Oh.
I definitely had in my mind what you and John brought up about, the show's not really hitting where it needs to be hitting.
Yeah.
But God, there's no defending it. Like, even if I would have like ignored you guys completely, like it was just the 12th episode or 13th episode was just so bad. So like indefensibly awful. But whatever.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
You been playing anything lately?
What have I been playing? I've been playing Hollow Knight. It's good. I don't need to tell anybody anything about fucking Hollow Knight. It's Hollow Knight. It's like the biggest Metroidvania since Super Metroid.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like saying, like, hey, have you guys heard of Dark Souls?
Exactly.
Dark Souls
exactly
is pretty
like
good.
that. Yeah. Like, wow, you know. Like, yeah, what if I start playing Dark Souls again? What the fuck am I going to say about Dark Souls? It's really hard, guys. I'm dying a lot.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but Dark Souls is kind of like the Dark Souls 3 of video games.
Whoa. That's pretty meta.
Whoa.
I saw a movie the other day.
You watching movies?
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of movies recently. I watched Belle, which is it's a new movie. It's an anime movie by Mamoru Hosoda, who did Girl Who Leapt Through Time, the first Digimon movie. I don't know if it's the first. He did Digimon Our War Game, like the good one. He did, what was it? Summer Wars, Wolf Children, Ame and Yuki, Boy and the Beast, Mirai, and now Belle.
Okay, so he's done a few, because I've seen Wolf Children and Summer Wars, both of which I thought were great.
Yeah, Belle is like there. He said, I think in an interview himself, Belle is kind of like the third of a trilogy between the Digimon movie, Summer Wars, and then now this.
So it's very digital involved.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember the plot or anything about it.
It's you know, like, so Summer Wars has that like I hate that this is the cultural touchstone that's like easiest to connect it to, but it's like the Ready Player One universe. Like, you know, they've got this super online like
it's
crazy
the Facebook metaverse.
Yeah, it's the metaverse. You know,
anime.
they got this crazy cyber fantasy world where everybody can do cool shit all the time, and as whatever avatar they feel like being. You know, super cool. It's about this girl named Suzu who
Belle is about Suzu.
Belle. Yeah, Belle is about this girl named Suzu. I don't remember the fucking Summer Wars main character name.
You asked me any of their names, like put a gun to my head to remember it. I'm dead. I absolutely dead.
There's a bunny that I think they refer to as the king, and he does karate. That guy's cool.
All right,
Big
you get
fan
to
of that
live
guy.
then, I guess.
Not
me.
I don't think that's not the bunny's name. He has a person attached to him, and that person has a real name. So maybe I'm half dead. Maybe they shoot me in the kneecap. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, shoot me in the gut, leave me to bleed out. Who knows? Yeah. But so Belle is about this girl named Suzu. She and her mom, they'd sing a lot together. That was the thing they would do. And she just loved it. Well, she was like huge on music and stuff. One day her mother suddenly passes away. There's this horrible storm going on. People were playing at the river, and then all of a sudden, like, flash floods, and there's this kid stuck on a sandbar, and her mom's like a really strong swimmer, so she's like, I gotta go and save that kid. Brings the kid to shore, gets swept away in the process. So her mother passes away. Suzu's like, I don't know, 6 or something when this happens, or very young. And after that, even though she wants to continue singing, the stress of it all gives her, like, we see her try to sing at one point, like in the real world, and she like has a panic attack moments in. Like, she actually collapses and throws up. It's like really like a big thing. Enter the world of U, like the capital U. She gets this avatar. It's this real pretty lady with pink hair, and like the second she gets in, she tries singing and realizes that she can. In this fantasy cyber digital world, she can sing again.
Yeah, like a metaverse internet kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that separation between, like, you know, from her real world self allows her to like get over those anxieties. A clip of her singing goes ultra viral, and all of a sudden she's like the biggest celebrity in this like cyber world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then it becomes she meets this other guy called the Beast. They actually call him the Dragon in the subs anyway. They refer to him as the Dragon like almost exclusively, but like the subtitles change it to Beast once in a while because it's Belle and the Beast is a Beauty and the Beast.
That would make sense from that perspective. It's not Belle and the Dragon.
Yeah. No, found this out today. The Japanese name of it, I believe, is Let me try this out. Ryu to Sobakasu no Hime, which is the dragon and the freckled princess. So,
okay.
Yeah. She has freckles. It's like one of her defining features. Anyway, yeah. So the two of them form this unlikely friendship, and a bunch of stuff happens. Like, these movies are never super straightforward with their plot, and this is no exception. In fact, this is like very much that. Like, it feels a bit more like watching an hour and a half long music video, or however long it is, than like a straightforward movie. But it was really good. I liked it quite a bit. I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop since I watched it, and big fan.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've liked about a lot of the movies that have come out, like Summer War or Your Name and whatnot, is kind of going into those a little bit, not really knowing anything.
Yeah.
I think it's really kind of like, we watch a lot of shonen anime on this podcast, and like I've been watching Demon Slayer and stuff lately, and I'm starting to like recognize a formula of how the first 6 episodes of shonen anime work.
Yeah,
it's only taken me like 2 years, but I'm really starting to be like, wait, hold on. And it's very refreshing to see these kind of movies that are so, by like the 30-minute to an hour mark, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And I remember your name really hit really hard for me. Summer Wars was also very good. And it's nice to see those kind of like thoughtful anime movies and whatnot.
Totally.
So I can definitely get behind seeing Belle at some point.
It's the kind of movie that I feel like you don't necessarily have to be a big like anime person to enjoy. It does have sort of like there's something that, like, in anime movies in particular, like, they get, I don't want to say corny, but like really big with the emotions. And like, if you're someone who like kind of shies away from like people not being subtle about things, then I could see that kind of turning you off from certain parts of this movie.
Yeah, I'm all about that shit.
yeah.
Give me the big emotions. Give me the big cheese. Obvious dramatic moment.
Absolutely, yeah, same. And if you're looking for that, this movie, fantastic. Yeah, it does that very well.
I'm on board.
Yeah, big fan. Go see Belle. It's in theaters. You can go like during a matinee, and you might be the only person there. Yeah, that could be fun.
I know. Well, that's the way to see shit now.
Yeah.
We were talking about it like a little bit earlier today. I didn't fucking realize until like a couple weeks ago how insane COVID and like Omicron and all that shit has gotten. I was looking at a graph and I thought it was a smaller time frame, like not the entirety of COVID, but like just a short little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, it's jumping up, but okay, that's sure, it jumps up every once in a while. And like to see that it's like spiking above like everything that we've done so far.
These are record highs right now, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. By like a bazillion %. I don't know the exact numbers. This is the podcast where we talk about COVID. Like almost every
world
episode.
Events is what.
Yeah, I mean, specifically one major world event,
and really only that one.
It was interesting because like I went to the SAC anime that they did in September. And I wanted to go to the one in January, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's cool that you're doing fan panels again. It seems like more stuff is going on. And it was cool that they were really pushing for, you need to have a vaccination card or you need to have like a negative test within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So they were taking good precautions. However, there were still a shit ton of people there.
Definitely, yeah. And it's like there's only so much they can do to enforce that kind of stuff. Like,
absolutely,
people start pulling their masks below their noses or taking them off. Like, how many people are actually going to like stop them?
Yeah, and people were really good about it when I was there in September, about like actually wearing their mask over all the parts that you're supposed to wear a mask over.
Right.
Which is something that most of America has been struggling with, apparently. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful things will calm down and whatnot. Omicron seems less lethal, and I'm like knocking on wood, hopeful that I really want to go to Fanime this year.
Yeah.
Like, Fanime sounds like it's going to be in person. Fanime is my favorite convention that I go to, and I haven't been in like 2 years. Like, it's killing me.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to go to Fanime again.
No, I remember running into you randomly at Fanime when I was there.
Yeah.
And just be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
That was such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, we went there for a couple of my friends and I. We went there for my birthday in, it was 2017. I don't fucking know.
Like that. Yeah, I was just drunk off my ass like I am at every Fanime.
As you're supposed to be, that's why we go there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm a person who drinks a fair amount, but when I'm at Fanime, it's like That is 4 days of intoxication. I came back from one where we had the hotel next to the convention center.
Oh.
So it wasn't even like, oh, we need to step away to go to a bar for a little bit. It was like, we can go back to the hotel room and drink some hard shit.
Yeah.
I like the weekend blew by. It was like, I've never had like a 4-day like bender before and just come back like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
Yeah.
I was blasted the entire time. Wonderful event. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, as soon as it's safe to do so, like, as soon as I can justify it, like, I'm absolutely down to hit that up for sure.
Yeah. I don't know about this year. I'm like, fingers crossed that it's going to be like, oh yeah, no, the whole disease burned out.
Yeah.
It's not even like a thing anymore, guys. Like, don't even stress.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but fingers crossed.
That's what I've heard some people say is like, oh yeah, the virus could be over in a matter of weeks because like just everyone's going to get it. And like, I think that's a very like America-centric way to look at it. Like everyone's getting it here. We can still spread it to a lot more places.
Yeah, it's a worldwide event, and also
pandemic. The pan means everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so it can continue to change, and I don't know. There's just we're not all gonna catch it, unfortunately, or fortunately. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, however to read this
Both,
thing.
yeah.
A buddy of mine brought up that like the Spanish flu was a thing for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So there's a good and they had same issues, right? People wouldn't wear masks, all sorts of problems. So there were conspiracies about it,
Yeah.
right? Like how we have like that 4G or 5G towers were causing COVID.
Yeah.
They had that radio waves, like radios were becoming a bigger thing at the time.
Really?
It was like radio waves are causing the Spanish flu.
Time is a circle, isn't it?
It is an absolute circle. So Spanish flu was a big thing for about 5 years. There's a good chance that we're 2.5 years in. We got another 2.5 years of this.
We're well, as far as lockdown goes, lockdown started in March for me anyway. It started in March of 2020.
Yeah.
So that puts us it's 2020 and 2021.
I'm not in a mental state to do math. I just figure it's two.
It's
2.5
2 or
years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between those two numbers.
Almost like 2.5.
Almost, yeah, we'll go with 2.5.
Almost
sure.
like that, yeah.
I feel like it can't be a half because we're really close to March, but also I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still torqued about the hedgehog thing. I can't count. I would love it if it was as people say, like, oh, everyone's gonna get a little, you're gonna get the sniffles, you're gonna get a cough, you're gonna run a little fever for a few days, and then you'll be okay. That's not how it is. That's absolutely not how it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people are suffering from this, and a lot of people are suffering long ass fucking side effects from COVID.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the whole thing. Like, you could end up in a situation like how it was for us, where like we were kind of out for like 3 or 4 days, and it was bad, but like obviously, like it wasn't the sickest I've ever been in my entire life.
It might have been the sickest I've been.
I once had a cough that was so bad it was at night and I couldn't like sleep through it, and it was so bad that I couldn't catch my breath in between the coughs.
Oh yeah,
so I felt like I was suffocating.
I've had that before.
That's the sickest I think I've ever been.
Yeah.
At least in terms of like pain.
Oh,
but,
sure.
Yeah, like we got it and it wasn't awful, but like other people are catching it. It affects people differently, and you could end up in a situation where like, yeah, you got unlucky, or maybe it's just the way it's supposed to happen or whatever, and like your lungs are just fucked for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If not more. And not to mention the fact that we live in America where like if you have to go to the hospital and you need more intense treatment, you could walk out fine and be $1 million in debt.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It's just not a good situation at all.
Yeah, like I would be stressing a lot less about this if we had universal health care or something like that.
Like
and
if
that
you knew
just,
you could go to a hospital and receive quality care and not end up destitute afterwards.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Like I've been a freelancer for the last few years and I have not made a lot of money in the last few years.
Sure.
So I haven't been to like a doctor in like 5 years. It's like I can't imagine what would happen if I got serious symptoms from COVID.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally.
Well, to put it on a brighter note, I think I've been watching Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah. How's that going? Where are you at in Demon Slayer?
I'm only like 3 episodes in.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching it partly or mostly because it is like the most popular, most top-rated anime of our age right now.
Demon Slayer Mugen Train, I think, became like the highest-grossing anime movie of all time. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I'd be surprised if I was. I mean, maybe it's changed in the last 6 months or
I don't
whatever.
think it has.
I don't think it has. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it kind of blew everything out of the. And it was funny because the stuff before that was like the movies we were talking about earlier, with like Your Name and like these like very emotional movies. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, and also Demon Slayer.
I think it was Your Name, like that got dethroned by Demon Slayer. That was at one point the highest grossing anime movie, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, I think Demon Slayer is obviously like very high quality, but like I don't know anybody who like really loves Demon Slayer. I know plenty of people who are watching it and they enjoy it, but even then, people are few and far between where it's like, oh yeah, I like Demon Slayer. Like, even then, I don't know any like Demon Slayer fanatics. I don't know that many people who have even heard of it. You know?
Yeah, and
where are all these people coming from?
And that's what I'm really trying to piece together in watching this. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I'm those 3 episodes in, I'm like, I don't get it. I do not understand why this has the appeal it does. Obviously, with a movie and I think another 23 to 50 episodes or whatever, maybe it hits some kind of point, but it just feels like, yeah, I've seen this shonen anime 100 times before, and I've seen it done better before. So it's interesting to me that it just must be hitting some kind of right point. I mean, and it's definitely like well animated and things like that. Maybe I'm just waiting for that like right fight scene or something.
Yeah. Where you're at, has he like learned the breathing technique yet?
Yeah. Or they just started talking about it.
Okay. Because that's like, you know, in every anime, like shonen anime, like at one point the main character gets their power, right? Like Naruto learns the shadow clone thing, Ichigo gets his Zanpakuto, et cetera, et cetera. This is him getting his power, is the breathing techniques. Like that's
right.
All the cool animated fight shit kind of comes from that. So like not all of it, but like a lot of it. Like a lot of the cool visual effects are from the breathing techniques.
I could see that.
Yeah. So like, that's where it picks up, I think.
And I've seen a couple of scenes from it that I've been like, oh damn, that's really well done.
Yeah.
So I can definitely respect where it's going. It blows my mind that this is like the biggest thing right now. I'm not super up on newer anime, so I can't think of anything that I should be like, how are people watching Demon Slayer when
The Ranking of Kings? Why isn't anybody watching The Ranking of Kings? It's so better than everything else that's out right now. Fucking watch The Ranking of Kings.
I haven't started watching Ranking of Kings, but everybody who has started it is just like, yeah, this show rules. Yeah.
The first episode had a fight scene that like got me choked up by the end of it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it was that real like storytelling through action kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to talk my girlfriend Bernadette into watching it.
Absolutely.
Like it's time to watch more anime together.
Yeah. I think you'll both really enjoy that one. Yeah. Got Brendan on my team here. So we're getting stronger. Yeah. When it comes to Demon Slayer, like I've watched maybe 7-8 episodes, something like that. I've met the big bad. I know who the big bad guy is. I don't remember his name, but I've seen his face. It's cool. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going for it. I like the soundtrack. I like the character designs. The fight scenes are cool. The moment I stop watching Demon Slayer, it leaves my mind entirely. Like Demon Slayer doesn't exist until I see like a tweet about it or something. Like in between those moments, it just takes up zero space in my brain at all.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where between this podcast and the stuff that I'm normally interested in, I like shonen anime a lot. Yeah. I think me and 12-year-old boys in Japan just have the same exact taste of what we want to see. So like I feel like I've watched a lot of shonen in the last couple of years. So it's just not hitting me as much as I'd like to. Between this Demon Slayer and what we watched today, Super Yo-Yo, all I'm thinking to myself is like, God, Yu Yu Hakusho is so good. I should just rewatch Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, I mean, but like Super Yo-Yo is going to take up more of my brain space than Demon Slayer may ever do.
I could see that, especially with the we'll get into it.
Yeah. Like, you know, even though I've watched like 7-8 episodes, like I still feel like I need to give Demon Slayer more of a chance. Like it's tight and, you know, brisk enough that I can watch the whole thing without like such a huge time investment and then like watch the movie and, you know, see what the action's all about. But like where I'm at right now, I'm with you. I see that it's very good. I don't see why it is a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to get at too.
Yeah.
I don't think Demon Slayer is bad by any means. I've got some issues with it here or there, but I think it's like it's a good show, and I understand if someone said I love Demon Slayer, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Like this show is good. I just don't understand why it is the top rated thing. Yeah, because I sat down the other day and I was like, I should watch what is the most popular thing right now. Yeah. Because we've been doing this anime podcast for like a year and a half. And if somebody asked me, like, what do you think of Demon Slayer? I'd seen the first episode when it aired back in the day. So like that's not a way to air that. I should have some kind of idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to anime.
Sure.
Having said that, I don't have any clue of what I'm saying when it comes to anime at this point.
I mean,
I don't
at least
get
when it comes to the hotness, hey, we're in our 30s, we're getting old. That's just how it is.
We have not reached a point where we're making enough money that we're releasing the quarterly, here's the anime you need to watch this season episodes. Yeah.
There's other people who fit that lane. We're just two, aging fucks talking about, I don't know. We're talking about a Yo-Yo Kids anime from 1998 today, 1997, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. But, if you want to hear about the most recent stuff, donate to our Patreon. We're only looking for like 10K.
Yeah, exactly.
For something reasonable.
The lowest subscription tier is $10,000.
$10,000.
And it only goes up. Yeah.
Oh, dude, wait till you hit the 20K tier. Oh, man, you can comment on our selfies every once in a while.
Yeah, you get unlimited foot pics from Stew. Not me.
For 20K, sure.
Yeah, would you really say no?
No. I have so low of standards. Honestly, it'd be like $5 a month foot pics.
That's not a bad deal. We just start that as a side hustle.
Listen, as an unemployed man, I will. My standards are very low.
You heard it here first, folks. Get it while it's hot. I'm trying to think. Have I done or played anything else? I feel like we're blasting through this hanging out section so fast.
I know. Yeah, we've hung out too much today.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. I watched I Love You Man yesterday from 2009 with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
What'd you think of it?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
That was a lovely movie.
Nice.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was not, because Felicia watched it a week or two ago, or not even that, some time ago. The next morning she was like, hey, we got to watch I Love You Man. You're really going to like it. And I'm like, it's a fucking 2009 rom-com ass. I've seen that cover a bajillion times. I'm not going to fucking, I've seen Failure to Launch. I've seen that one about what's his ass, Ryan Reynolds getting thin and getting out of the friend zone. I've seen a mid 2000s rom-com before. I don't need to watch this shit. But last night we did watch it and it was adorable. I loved it. Start to finish. It was fantastic.
It's absolutely great. I remember my friend Will, after he saw Star Trek, one of the Star Trek movies, he messaged me and was like, oh man, I'm really glad we're friends, because that movie's about friendship. And I remember I watched I Love You Man not long after, and I was like, I gotta hit him back with the same response. It's just about being friends with your guy friends, and just how important that shit is.
That is peak dudes rock media right there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, as a dude, that I try to make sure to do with my friends is if somebody's wearing something that looks nice, compliment them, say hey, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Get over that kind of if I'm not 100% hetero every second, then I'm actually could be gay at any moment.
Yeah.
It's just fun being friends with your dudes,
it's good to be, and that's, honestly, that's one of the things that I loved most about the movie is they get into a lot of really kind of stupid and wacky situations. There's the Paul Rudd tells, I don't remember any of the character names. Paul Rudd tells Jason Segel that that his fiance Rashida Jones does not she doesn't, I don't know how to say this PG. She doesn't she doesn't do the oral stuff. She doesn't like that. And Jason Segel at their I don't know what you call it, some sort of engagement party thing, makes a few cheeky jokes about that in his toast, and she's all pissed about it, and but eventually it leads to her and Paul Rudd having a conversation about it. It ends up being kind of a good thing because they haven't been able to talk about this and now they have. But even after that, even though it ended up okay, the next time we see Jason Segel and Paul Rudd together, the first thing he does is hey, can I say something? I fucked up so bad. He just kind of lays it out there. I feel like such an asshole. I was so nervous. Just explains where he was. It doesn't excuse it away with that. Says hey, I fucked up. I'm really sorry. You don't see dudes do that in movies or real life a lot of the time. You know?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things as a guy, I look back on, I was a huge piece of shit for most of my life.
I can see your hair slicking back pretty nice. Yeah.
It's pushback. No, I real talk. I sucked for a lot of my life, and I boil it down to just not talking to people about how I felt about things. If somebody was doing something that offended me, I didn't tell them about it.
Yeah.
I was doing something that was offending somebody else, I just ignored it or whatever, you know? So refreshing these days to just, like, if something's up, if you're feeling a certain way, just tell somebody.
Yeah.
You know, just be blunt and talk to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, like, people are chill about it.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with your friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
Especially with your guy friends and whatnot. Just like, hey, when you said this, I didn't like that. Or, hey, what do you think about this thing?
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's a real like freedom in knowing that if you fuck up, you'll be called on it, because then like there's not that ambiguity of like, oh, did they take offense to this thing that I said 3 weeks ago or whatever? Like, do I need to start like, you know, backtracking on everything I say to like make sure that we're good? You just know that you're good because if you weren't, they'd say something, right? Mm-hmm. That's great. You know?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, For Fun is like playing on like the rom-com movie is about Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. You know, like it's their relationship is the rom-com.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
At the same time, you should talk about stuff with your guy friends more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're kind of like the opposite of your Tyler Durden or your like Rick Sanchez type of thing. It's like, you know, not in the sense that like people do or should not or anything idolize them, but like, you know, on that other end, it's like that sort of paragon of everything that shitty dudes do. On this end, it's just like, yeah, that's like a role model for like, if you want to be a more caring and responsible friend to your bros, check those guys out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe like, not all of their behaviors, you know?
Yeah, if you want to have a closer relationship with your friends, I feel like that's a good movie to kind of start with.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
It's funny. It's good. It's my favorite anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that one up. It's made me very happy.
It was great. Yeah. Love that one. We're going to watch it many more times, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have this whole yo-yo anime that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. Before we get into that, though, I got to ask you a couple of yo-yo questions.
Hit me.
I've got actually a few of them here. Were yo-yos a big thing for you when you were in, like, elementary school?
They were pretty big. Like, I mean, I was not the most social of kids. And, like, I got really into, like, a lot of those, like, dumb little hobbies. Like, I got into yo-yos. I got into, like, what's it called? The cat's cradle stuff, like with the string, you know? I had, like, VHSs on that. I got really into, like, origami and paper airplanes and like all sorts of, you know, little dumb little stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely had like a pretty lengthy yo-yo phase. I got into stage magic at one point. There's an alternate universe where like I'm a stage magician and I tremble thinking about that sometimes. Like, oh God, things could have been so much worse.
Magic's cool. I like magic.
I like magic when people are like really good at it. Like Penn and Teller good at it. If you are anything, it's like, I don't know, parkour, you know, like if you see someone who's just okay at parkour, like it's not very impressive.
That's fair, yeah. And it's tough these days with the internet too. It's like I know how you could have edited that to make it fake. Yeah, that's so good. I have this very distinct memory that this anime has made me remember, where I think when I was like in elementary school, so 6th grade or younger, my whole class got into yo-yos. Or at least the guys did.
Yeah.
Now, I went to a broke-ass school. Like, we were, like, out in the fucking sticks.
Sure.
We did not have a lot of money. We never went on fucking field trips or anything like that, except for, like, one or two. Like, across from kindergarten to 6th grade, you go on, like, a field trip.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where was the field trip to?
We went to Sly Park.
Sly Park?
Sly Park.
What's that?
It's just like a place in the woods. There's a decent amount of people who have been there as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a week in a woods. That was the big one. Like, every once in a while a little one will pop up, but schools get paid based on like the area they live in and also like how many kids go there. And like, to put it into perspective, like my elementary school was really small. When I was in high school, I was the 69th person to graduate in my senior class. Like, I was the last person in line or whatever. So that's 69 people in the senior year. And I think there were about like 300 people in the entire high school.
In the whole school.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, which I thought was a ton until I met someone else.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was at this. We had like an auditorium presentation thing. There's probably a word that I'm just blanking on. Basically, we had a presentation from like a guy who did yo-yo stuff.
Yeah.
And he did yo-yo stuff for our class, and we were all like, whoa. And so from that, for about like a couple weeks, everybody's like, yo-yos are sick. And I remember having a yo-yo and I can like feel it like in my hand, the yo-yo motion.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have anything like that?
Oh yeah. Like I practiced. Oh gosh, I was much younger. I think I must have been like 5 or 6. But yeah, we had a similar presentation. It was weird. I went to a Catholic private school for the first couple of years of my growing up. Was not Catholic. Just don't know. It was like
you just got to go to a Catholic school.
Exactly.
You know?
Like my parents were religious, and I think they wanted just me to be somewhere where they'll talk about Jesus, and so that's where I ended up. You know, it's like it doesn't matter where, as long as there's Jesus involved. But yeah, weirdly enough, they also at that school had a magician show up, and like again, stage magic, you know, he does the thing where he's got a wand and now it's some flowers, or he puts a thing in his mouth and all of a sudden it's a ribbon, you know, very simple, safe stuff. But like growing up in a very Christian like environment, the word magic itself is very taboo. Getting off topic though. Yes, they did. They had maybe the same people. I don't know. We had like a yo-yo presentation, and that kind of sparked my interest in yo-yos. And yeah, I actually I never got good at them, but I could do yo-yo tricks. Like many of the tricks that we see in the first couple of episodes, I at one point knew how to do them.
Yeah,
you know?
like I'm pretty sure I could do the long sleeper and all that. I could feel that. There's the one where you like basically make a triangle and then the yo-yo goes in between it. I think it's the cradle.
Rock the baby, I think they call it.
Rock the baby, something. I could do that one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as my brain will. Maybe, obviously, like walk the dog, because that's just the long sleeper. Long sleeper, for anybody who doesn't know, is where you throw the yo-yo down and then it dangles there. Not hitting the ground. While still
spinning, yeah.
But still spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's important because it comes up a shit ton in this fucking anime.
It is the basis of like many, many, many yo-yo tricks. Like I understand.
I don't give a shit. You can't throw it in this anime. I'm getting ahead of
They could have afforded to be a teensy bit less realistic with how important that was, just because there's a lot of tense moments of just watching a yo-yo spin stationary.
Yeah.
Just dangling from this kid's finger.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what got you out of yo-yos? Like, what made you just...
Same thing as everything else. It's short attention span. Maybe it was the origami or the stage magic or whatever the fuck. Like, a Scholastic book fair happened, and I, bought a book on fucking... I bought a chemical set or a fuse board or whatever, and then never thought about yo-yos again. I just have a very short attention span. That's how these things go.
Yeah, and I feel like our parents were just kind of throwing everything at us, like... What
exactly?
Okay, something's got to stick. That's not video games eventually.
Yeah, and like my dad especially was like trying to get me into something that could eventually turn into a career. Like he got me this like kit of like learn how to build a circuit board kind of thing. It came with like a bunch of little fuses and transistors and all sorts of little knobs and things, little lights, whatever, and like a breadboard. And
you could have been a circuit board.
I could have been a circuit board guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
for whatever that does,
I'm sure that's useful somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I was taught about and what I like. Here's how to do things on dial-up internet. Just completely irrelevant these days.
Yeah,
like I have a lot of memories of learning about how handwriting stuff is actually kind of more important to know how to do that than how to use Word,
like the program.
Yeah.
That seems false.
In retrospect, it's maybe the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The argument was, so you type in something wrong when you're in Word or a similar program, right?
Yeah.
And it does the little red squiggle underneath.
Yeah.
Well, you could right click on that, replace it with a word, but what if you replace it with the wrong word?
Whereas if you use their THEIR instead of THERE,
God, so embarrassing.
THEY''RE.
Ugh.
It'll catch that too, actually. It's it's not that hard to program in those sorts of corrections. It's not that.
And that's the whole thing. And I didn't realize it until years later. But like I remember being like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the teacher's saying it. Yeah. But like if you write something down and then you proofread it and you see that it's wrong, you're gonna double check for the right thing.
Yeah.
Now, that's a load of horse shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed that it was wrong if the red squiggles weren't under there. Technology has only improved our lives.
Yeah.
For the most part. Cryptocurrency's bullshit, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah. Mostly. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, with those yo-yo questions out of the way, it's just something that's been on my mind this whole ever since we were like, yeah, we're gonna talk about Super Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
I've been like,
it's forever ago.
Why was that man at my school? Why was he there? Why did we have a yo-yo man?
It's weird too, because like
need him. He didn't teach us anything.
Taught you how fucking sick yo-yos are.
They were sick, I guess.
It almost makes me wonder if like were they paying the school district to allow them to put these shows on? Like, was it not the other way around? You know what I mean? Like how Apple paid to have all those the brightly colored box computers in all the schools, so like kids would learn on Macs and then want to buy Macs.
That makes sense because we had those brightly colored boxes.
Same. And you know what that taught me? That I don't fucking like iOS at all. So.
I don't like Mac, but I love Bug Run.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever played Bug
or
Run.
Bugdum. It was Bugdum.
Bugdum. I don't think I ever played Bugdum.
That's going to mean something to somebody out there.
There you go. Yeah. Like and subscribe if you ever played Bugdum before.
Yeah, comment your favorite level of Bugdum. Was it the one where people could step on you and you couldn't fucking beat it before lunch ended?
Is that your favorite one?
It's got to mean something to somebody.
Let us know in the comments. Oregon Trail. Mario teaches typing.
There you go.
Sim Town 2000. Or whatever that was called. It wasn't Sim City. It was like smaller. It was bigger. The buildings were bigger. It wasn't as big of a town, though. You were saying.
Anyways, we played. We didn't play. We watched the first 6 episodes of Super Yo-Yo.
We did.
So it's from 1997, 1998.
Something like that.
Real peak Shonen shit right here.
Yeah. This is that ultimate, like, you know, you had like your Pokemon, your Yu-Gi-Oh, your like I think Air Gear came out around that time too. Like a bunch of shows where it's like everyone in the world is into this one otherwise niche hobby. Doesn't matter how old you are or if you're a guy, you're a gal, you're you know, wherever you're from, you love this thing. And in this world it's yo-yos. Everybody loves yo-yos.
Yeah, there's a lot of like real world shonen animes and stuff like that where it's like whatever the protagonist is into, the entire world revolves around it. Like the entire world really cares about how well you fold laundry. So it's important that you put the t-shirt part this way. I've seen it a billion times at this point.
And it's always fun.
Yeah. I'm not as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan #1 over here. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, like I love the thing I love the most is like especially like the more ridiculous you can get with that concept of like everyone in this world loving that thing, the better. Like in the Mega Man Battle Network series, everybody does. They call them net battles or whatever. Like they fight their little digipets against each other. Essentially, you'll be like taking down a terrorist organization, and like a guard, like a flunky will find you, and he's like, "Hey, kid, get ready to net battle." It's like, I'm a child. You could just like strangle me right now.
Right.
But we got to fight our little digipets against each other. You know, love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's similar with like Pokemon and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
To kind of talk about, before we get into our initial feelings and everything about it, God, do you have to jump through fucking hoops to watch Super Yo-Yo these days?
I mean, well, it was fast enough once we made peace with the fact that we had to watch it dubbed for the most part.
Yeah.
We watched the first episode in subs because for some reason, some kind soul uploaded the first episode in subs to YouTube in pretty decent quality.
Yeah.
And then the rest off of what must have been like a graphing calculator in English dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very poor quality and also hilarious voice acting. Loved it.
Yeah.
It's like 4 people did the whole dub.
Yeah, which, if anything, props to them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, as funny as the dub is, it's like, well, you only had like a few people to do like 800 different voices. So
yeah,
that's pretty fucking brutal.
Totally. These were also people in like some dub or another of One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh. All 4 of them.
A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh guys that I recognized.
Yeah.
Or I didn't recognize their voices, but like when you pointed out, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, see, the thing is, I was doing some Googling on this just because I was curious. Apparently, the dub of, because I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh went for so long, it's hundreds of episodes, it's like almost 300 episodes, I think. During that time, like the several years that this was running, like the voice actors apparently got swapped out many times. So like,
oh, okay.
The guy who plays the main character in this, Sunichi, also voiced Yugi at some point. Don't know exactly what episodes. I couldn't find an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And go like, that's the one with the guy from the Yo-Yo anime. But he was Yugi at some point. He was also Luffy at some point somewhere.
It's a really interesting dub, too, because it's not like a 4Kids dub where the anime has changed dramatically, or where they it's like, hey, what's up, Jeff? How are you doing, Jimmy? Like, they're using the Japanese names, which is something you see more typically these days. I thought that was kind of interesting.
They did it in the 3rd season of Digimon. First, 1 and 2, they changed their names to English names or American names. 3rd season, they were just Japanese names.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I think was the case for basically every anime pre 2005, probably, is that they would change the names to more American names for American kids and all that. Yeah, it's not the case. They left in all the Japanese names. So it really makes me wonder about maybe like about how this I want to hear stories about how this stuff got made. Like we need to go to conventions, go to those dumbass fucking QA panels where it's like, hey, guy who voiced Yugi, tell me everything you know about Super Yo-Yo and like doing that shit. I'm so curious about how it got, like, was it just expecting to sell fucking gangbusters in Suncoast?
I don't know. I mean, they probably weren't expecting it to sell gangbusters if they had 4 people do the whole thing.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Such excellent line reads so often.
Well, it's like what we talked about when Brendan was on, when we watched Serial Experiments Lane. It's like there was that like Wild West era of anime in the West where it's like, you know, you're gonna buy this episode off weird people, and that you only have you have these 3 companies who are licensing all this stuff from Japan, who are just churning it out. Like Akira was successful, let's just fucking just pump it out.
That's
just
right.
Whatever it is, hentai or otherwise, doesn't matter. And so it was actually kind of that was maybe my favorite part about tonight was like it really felt like it was back in 2005. It's like, all right, we found this anime that we want to watch. We found it and we're able to watch it. All right, let's go, you know?
Definitely.
It's not the best quality, but hell yeah, we can watch it.
There was something like kind of nostalgic about watching it in poor quality on YouTube, you know, in like the 4:3 or whatever it was, you know?
Yeah, if only it was in like the lower right corner of the episode. You know, it's like, so you have this moving graphic, but then you have the actual anime in the lower right. Like, yeah, that's what I really wanted from the show.
Should have gone for the real old school experience and split it up into like multiple parts per episode.
Oh, that would have been good too.
Yeah, you
Damn.
know, the episode 3, part 2 of 3, you know.
Yeah.
Couldn't upload more than 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even through the less legitimate sites, not that we would ever use anything like
Never,
that. No, we would never.
Yeah.
But they didn't even have like the full like roster of episodes.
No, yeah, like you know, the Go-Go's and the Kisses of the world had like episodes like 1 through 3, 1 through 4, but like couldn't get all 6.
Yeah, and it's weird too because you watch. I did a little bit of digging, like trying to find it, and it was like I could find the big battles in the later episodes. I even found like all the yo-yo battles 1 through 6 like on YouTube. Like, so like somebody made it for us almost.
Well, fuck, we could have watched that, saved so much time. We'd be done by now. Yeah,
we would have loved it too. So there was that, and then there's also there's a Reddit called like R Throwers or something, and I guess that's the yo-yo Reddit.
Now, see, this is throwing me off.
I didn't go to it, so I'm not positive.
Well, I need to find out that name because, like, you know, because very consistently throughout this entire show, they make sure you know that one who is good at yo-yos is a spinner.
Yeah. I saw R Throwers, and I saw a lot of people talking about what anime should I watch after Super Yo-Yo. And there were a couple
Beyblades. I don't know.
Yeah, right. And there were a couple episodes, or not a couple, a couple of videos on YouTube of professional yo-yoers reacting to Super Yo-Yo.
Can you be a professional yo-yoer? Like, how much money can you make off of that?
I don't know, man. Esports are real, so anything's real.
Yeah, but I enjoy watching esports for more than 5 minutes. And that's 5 minutes is generous in terms of like how long I could be entertained by the best yo-yoer in the world, unless their life is in danger in some way, like they're using a yo-yo to like battle a lion or something.
Right.
I'm not that interested.
Well, and that's That's kind of the funny thing with the show. A lot of the plot elements reminded me of Yu Yu Hakusho. There's a character who reminded me of Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, yeah.
And both of those shows have Yu Yu Hakusho has a bad guy who uses yo-yos, and then Hunter x Hunter has Killua, I think is his name.
Killua, yeah.
Who uses like a really heavy yo-yo to kill people.
Yeah.
So here are two shows that you are reminding me of that have yo-yos in them that use yo-yos in way cooler ways than this yo-yo show.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
That's the thing is, like, I was really hoping, like, in what was it called? Like, you ever seen Air Gear?
No.
Air Gear is an anime where everyone is into roller skates, but not just any ordinary roller skates. These are like super hella fast, like motorized roller skates or something. People are riding up walls and shit. And that's the cool thing is, like, you know, I've seen people roller skate, but like in the real world, I have not seen people like riding up walls and grinding on power lines and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can go so much higher, and they kind of get the gesture at it a little bit. At one point, main character and his like rival turned friend are like running away from like a whole platoon of cops. Like 10 cops are chasing them. Mm-hmm. Knock those pigs out with your yo-yos.
Right.
Fight them with your yo-yos. That could be really fun.
Yeah.
But instead, it's just like a goofy little chase scene, and they hide in some bushes, and then, I don't know, other stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't realize the full potential of the yo-yo. And it feels like a yo-yo anime made for yo-yo fans.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. You and I don't love the yo-yo enough to love this anime.
That must have been a much more robust demographic in the late 90s than it is now.
And that's kind of what's like, why was there a man at my school telling me about yo-yos? There's no educational value. Why were you there? It's also weird to think that man would be like 50 now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like an incredibly skilled yo-yoer who is 50.
Yeah. I don't know if you had the same thing as a kid. I definitely, like, anybody older than, like, when I was in the single digits age, anybody older than like 16 was an adult. I couldn't really tell the difference between like an 18-year-old and a 40-year-old, like, as a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's just adults to me. I don't know how any of that shit works. So, like, that person could have been, you know, pushing 50 then. That person could be elderly now. You know?
Oh my God, he could be dead.
He could be dead.
He could be dead. The Yo-Yo Man could be dead. The Yo-Yo Man of my memories could be dead.
Listen, the Yo-Yo Man could never be dead because he always comes back.
He always comes back.
Yeah. Like a yo-yo.
like this fucking podcast. Like, we have extended the life of the yo-yo via this podcast.
Exactly.
It was about to die.
There's somebody somewhere is talking about yo-yos.
Yeah.
You know. As long as people believe.
There's professional yo-yo YouTube channels too. I don't want to.
That one we watched, I don't know if I can call it professional. I don't mean to be a YouTube snob here, but that video had like 16K views.
That man was I hope he's really good at yo-yos because his reaction video was not good.
It wasn't hitting. I've never watched a reaction video that I've enjoyed, but like that one was especially rough.
Listen, I'm not here to dunk on another man's content or whatever. You know, whatever.
Hey, it's fine.
Let's talk about
Now I feel maybe we edit this out. I don't mean to dunk on that. We're punching way up. I mean, 16K views is a lot more than we got.
Okay, you know what? Then fuck that. This man, PewDiePie did some shit with yo-yos. I don't know. I don't watch PewDiePie shit.
No.
But he reacted to that and he said that
he said the N-word to some yo-yos.
He was like, these yo-yos are my neighbors. And he said that video had 1 million views and that him reacting to PewDiePie's things. So he has this video and the whole reason I clicked on it was like reacting to yo-yo anime, the anime that we watched.
Yeah.
Featuring PewDiePie? PewDiePie is not featured outside of him mentioning that his video that had PewDiePie in it had 1 million views. It didn't have PewDiePie in it. He reacted to a PewDiePie video.
Yeah. That's not feature. That's not how that works.
Listen, if this gets to Yo-Yo Man, I'm speaking specifically to Yo-Yo Man here. I'm sure you're good at yo-yos, and I'm sure your content on the rest of your channel is good. I'm sure that
he has a 30-part How to Get Into Yo-Yos series.
And I'm sure he teaches them all the cool moves and shit, dude. Yeah. I'm sure he does a really good job at that.
He can do the shoot the moon.
That reaction video sucks. That reaction video sucks hard, dude. You are on the baseball scene of the yo-yo anime for like, I don't know, way too long.
I think he just watched the first episode like straight. Like I don't know how much he cut. I don't think he cut much.
I had to jump through it a bunch. His video was 15 minutes long. The episode is like 20 minutes long.
Okay, yeah. So he must have cut something somewhere.
So he had to cut something somewhere. Listen, man, I'm speaking specifically to Yo-Yo Man here. That was not a good video. And just don't do another one like that. That's all I'm saying. And if you react to this video, I'm expecting better quality.
I mean, if he does, I hope he reacts to the entire episode in its entirety, all 2 hours, and he's just sitting there going
waste of time.
And he's just sitting there going like, "Well, that's not accurate about yo-yos." Like, I wish they were talking about yo-yos right now.
He's like, I was that yo-yo man. I'm actually immortal. I'm still 20 years old. I've never aged through the power of the yo-yo.
God, what if that was that guy?
Yeah, shit. It's like he ages as the yo-yo goes down, he turns 80, but as it comes back up, he turns 20.
Oh,
God, that'd be sick.
That'd be really cool.
That'd
actually
be so sick.
We just wrote a way more interesting yo-yo anime than what we just watched.
Well, let's talk about the less interesting yo-yo anime that we just watched. Really briefly, general kind of feelings. Like, how do you feel about Super Yo-Yo?
It's fine. I mean, I think if I had watched it in like 1998 or whatever, like I would have been obsessed. You kidding me? That was like around the same time Pokemon came out. I would have been like, back to back for me. As a 30-year-old, however, I'm like, this is, it's kind of a nice little time and place kind of thing. Like, I don't even if I hated this, like, how much am I going to dunk on it? It's for like, not just like kids, it's for children. You know what I mean? This is for elementary schoolers specifically. Even so, it was a fun time. I liked watching people do yo-yos and do the dumb voices and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. And as we'll kind of cover is as we talk about it, my only beef with it is that like they just do one trick for like a lot of episodes, and oh boy, is that boring as shit.
Yeah. Like, it's the least interesting trick. It's like if a basketball anime like spent several episodes where people just like dribbled in place.
Yeah.
For like an entire episode, just like someone dribbling.
Right. Like you can appreciate how dribbling is important.
Very.
But you can also
and there's a lot of skill involved.
Right. But also dribbling's boring as shit.
If you can do the cool like, NBA street stuff, you're doing the crazy spins and
you're
tricks.
Doing the switch ups and you're like fucking somebody
doing some Harlem Globetrotters type stuff. That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
But if I'm just gonna watch a man dribble for, well, yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, I was ready to dunk on this anime for being all about yo-yos, which was already kind of a silly thing. The fact that they don't spice it up very much in this episode, or in this show, is just like,
yeah. Soundtrack on this show, weirdly good. I don't know if they got they just like bought the songs off. I can't imagine they hired someone for it, but who knows? Bangers. It's fantastic.
The opening theme, like, because that's what made us watch this show. You found the opening theme in like a tweet somewhere.
Yeah.
You sent it to me and you're like, we got to talk about this yo-yo anime at some point. Yep. And I was like, yeah, this is great. This is cool. And yeah, the music is killer all the way through.
They have some kind of there's like some Mega Man 8 sounding like trumpet synth that they're using constantly, especially as someone who's played a fuck ton of Mega Man 8 and like just a lot of PlayStation games in general. Like that especially, like, hit me. Like every time that comes in, I'm like, this is the shit. This is some real 1997 shit right here.
Yeah, it really has that like PS1 kind of quality.
Yeah.
To it. And it kind of reminds me, like, this feels a bit like Eat Man was when we watched that, where it's like, okay, I'm not maybe the biggest fan of the anime, but like, who did they grab for the music? They're just killing it all the way through.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got our general feelings. We got a lot of shit out there. So the first episode opens with, we have our boy
Sunichi.
Suichi?
Sunichi. Yes.
Sunichi. Yeah, I need the hardcore pronunciation for this one. I've had enough beer tonight.
It is a little confusing because some of the kids say Shunichi, like SHU, and then some people say Sunichi.
Sunichi. But Sunichi is like just an all around great at everything kid. It opens with him playing baseball.
And killing it. He's crushing it out there.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
He's like the best at it.
Yeah.
And apparently he's also asked to play basketball and stuff like that. But he gets guilted into helping his friend who...
Weird little freak that kid was.
Weird little radish child. No,
nasty little gnome thing.
His shirt said kimchi.
It says kimchi in katakana. It says kimchi across his shirt.
Yeah. So he informs our protagonist here that everyone in the class has lost their yo-yos to a person.
Yeah.
And they need this guy who's really good at everything to go defeat him in a yo-yo battle.
Yeah.
Which is apparently a thing.
Yeah.
And our protagonist doesn't know yo-yos at all.
He never fucked with yo-yos. He does not care. Also, one of the kids on the baseball team mentions, like, after he's done playing, one of the other kids is like, why doesn't he join up with the baseball team or whatever? And then the captain or whatever goes like, because Sunichi's just so good at everything, but he can't find anything to be passionate about. He's looking for that thing that he's gonna really love. And spoilers, it's gonna be yo-yos. It's funny because there's their friend who's a girl, I think her name's Leanne. She seems pretty competent at yo-yos, like not world class or anything, but she can do a lot of tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
And she volunteers to help the weird little freak thing out to get his yo-yo back. And he's like not about it at all. He's like, no, I need this kid who's never touched a yo-yo in his life to do it.
Yeah, well, and she also guilts Sunichi into doing it. She's like, wow, that's really fucked up that you wouldn't help your friend who's asking you for help. It's like, he's asking me to help in a yo-yo battle. I literally have never touched a yo-yo.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really fucked up that you won't help me with like rocket science, Bakari. Like, I know that you do
never
math
even seen a
ever,
rocket.
but like...
Yeah.
That's fucked up that you won't like just be an astronaut.
Yeah. And then you've got like someone with like at least some kind of degree in like something similar there, and it's like, hey, I could do it. And he's like, no,
I'm not here. No.
Yeah.
I want the man who's never done it before.
Yeah. Maybe I'll end up really passionate about rocket science. Who knows?
But yeah. So she gives him the yo-yo, the Hyper Russell.
It's Hyper Russell. I keep forgetting. Every other dude name pops into my head before Russell. I'm like, the Hyper Stanley. The Hyper Jacob. Yeah, the Hyper Russell is the name of it.
And they say Russell a lot.
They sure do. They never just say like his yo-yo. They always have to refer to it by its brand because they're that like inside on it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, his fireball is doing this, or his what's the last one he gets? Hyper Dragon. Hyper Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, his Russell, and they go into a lot of detail with like the specs on these yo-yos too.
Yeah.
Kind of lost me a little bit, honestly.
Well, they do it in the most boring way.
That's true.
Like so he gets the Hyper Russell, he trains, he becomes really good at it.
Yeah, he like stays home from school for a week.
And the one thing I really appreciate is that they don't show the training part of him getting good with it. They just like, hey, I'm really good with yo-yo. And then they show it in when he battles the guy.
Yeah.
Really basic shonen shit, but I think that's really good.
Totally. It's well executed first episode.
Goes and battles the guy, and he's got his Hyper Russell. And there's 10 moves that are like the super moves or whatever.
They're the like the basic. They're the like the 10 fundamental moves of yo-yoing. Apparently, I'd never heard of this system before. Here now, they probably made it up. It's like it's your long sleeper, your walk the dog, your forward pass. Like really simple standard yo-yo tricks that end up serving as the fundamentals for more advanced yo-yo tricks.
Yeah, and it's all fairly basic stuff.
Yeah,
that he and the guy who's like stolen all the yo-yos, won all the competitions, they're both able to get through it. And so the goal of every yo-yo battle is to just do all the moves, it seems like.
Yeah, if one of them can do the move and the other one can't do the move, I guess the one who can do it wins.
That seems to be the case in most yo-yo battles.
Yeah,
according to this anime.
But these are all like really simple. Again, they're very simple yo-yo tricks.
Yeah,
like it's like, you know, we're both drummers. They're like rudiments. You know, if you couldn't do those basic tricks, why would you even enter a yo-yo competition?
Well, and the frustrating part is with this episode. So they do all the moves, and the moves are like well animated. They do a good job of like Sunichi being like not perfect at it. Like he throws the yo-yo out, but when he tries to recall it, oh man, his hand's not quite in the right place. You know,
he's got to readjust a little bit.
Yeah, it's like it's clear that he's not an expert at it. But then it's like the bad guy's like, well, now we're gonna do a long sleeper, and a long sleeper is you throw the yo-yo down, and then you just let it hang there and let it continue to spin.
Yeah.
That's the most boring shit for a shonen fucking anime, for an animated adventure, for a fucking anything, dude. It is the slow speed chase of battles.
It is. I can only imagine it's very easy to animate, however, because they literally just stand there. They just dangle. And like, unless they're zoomed in on the yo-yo, you know, the yo-yo doesn't even have to move. Like, these are paintings half the time. They're just standing perfectly still, waiting for one of the yo-yos to stop spinning.
Yeah, and it goes on for a while. What I wanted from that scene was like the initial D kind of stuff. And they have a decent amount of it in that episode where it's like, but his specs allow him to do this. But if he twists his arm and does this thing, then that means, and they have a decent amount of that stuff, but not enough.
Yeah.
You need constant monologue of someone being like, oh, but he could lose it in this moment if he doesn't blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know?
But I don't think there is much to, like, once you've thrown it, you just wait, right? Like, there's not any sort of adjustments to be made, you know? There's no technique beyond, like, waiting for it to come back up, right?
I presume so, but I'm not interested in realism. I want, like, give me stakes. Give me something other than watching two men throw a yo-yo down at the ground. Not men, children.
Yeah,
but
two
whatever.
boys. They're like 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the main character's 10. I think the kid he's battling against who maybe this is more reminiscent of like a monk or something that I'm too uncultured to understand. He's dressed a lot like Akuma from Street Fighter.
Yeah,
he's got the large prayer beads around his neck and his wrists, and then he has the sandals with the wedges on him. Yeah, and he's got kind of the hair and the skin tone.
Yeah. And he's an interesting character because I remember you seeing him and he's like, what's the over under of him becoming like their friend?
Oh yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah, I think he could become their friend. If you watch the intro of the anime, obviously he's gonna fucking become their friend.
Oh yeah, but we didn't watch the intro.
The version we had didn't have the intro. So honestly, the intro of this anime spoils the first 6 episodes.
We could have just watched that
so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been saved a lot of very repetitive scenes of sleepers and loop the loops.
Any tension of the show is gone in that opening.
Yeah.
As much as the opening's a banger, that's pretty fucking bad. That's because not a lot happens in these first 6 episodes, and they spoil it so hard.
It's about the moment to moment, you know? It's about the training montages. Well, not really montages. The training time skips.
I think
it's about the guy with the sunglasses.
We got it in the perfect way where we didn't know exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And,
no, I think that was the optimal way to experience it for sure. But then enter Hojoin.
Hojoin.
It's
Hojoin.
There's this fucking Kurama ass looking motherfucker who's watching the sleeper battle with great intent. It turns out he is the hometown hero, one of the greats of the local yo-yo scene.
He's like
Saito?
the Japan champion.
Yeah. His first name Saito? Is it Saito? Something like that?
I don't remember.
First is something, last name Hojoin.
Seda.
Seda.
That's what they said in the
Seda.
dub.
Okay, sure. Seda.
Yeah,
Seda.
so maybe it's Sada. I don't know.
Sure, whatever. It's probably Seda. Who knows? But Seda Hojoin, like, you know, Hojoin. Everyone in the English dub pronounce it Hojoin, like ho and then join, like you join a conversation. It's wonderful. Love Hojoin so much.
Hojoin.
I'm never gonna ever pronounce that correctly again.
Because it should be Hojoin.
Hojoin.
Hojoin. Yeah. And that's how they say it in the sub version that we watched.
Yeah. It's like the in is its own like syllable, essentially.
Yeah. So it's just like it Like if you watch this with your friends, if you don't listen to us and you decide to watch this show, watch the sub first and then go in. Like watch the sub first episode and then go into the rest with dub.
Yeah,
it just really adds a lot.
We really did do it the right way. Like,
I think we did this show as good a justice as we could have.
I think so. Yeah. Because I think like if we had just watched the rest of it in Japanese, like something would have been missing. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, something was definitely missing because they refer to the Akuma guy as an uncle. And something's definitely missing because the dub doesn't even come close to using the word uncle.
No. I can't explain that. They refer to him as Oji-san, like as an Oji-san, which does literally mean uncle, but like in the way that they're using it, it's more like someone who's just older than them. Like it's chances are good that this kid's like a middle schooler to their elementary school, you know? So like they see him as someone much older, even if it is only by a couple of years. So that was rough translation, not like what, not that the Japanese was actually calling him like an uncle.
Got it.
But yeah.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. Because yeah, it's just an old, like they're referring to this middle schooler as, oh, he's an uncle of this organization. Like what the you're not just an uncle of an organization. What?
He could be if you're like a Yakuza, maybe. You know?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm Uncle Yakuza.
Yeah. Yo-Yo Yakuza. Ooh. I'm onto something there.
There's something there. Okay, so they have their long sleeper battle.
Yeah.
Protagonist wins. Hojoin shows him up.
Yeah.
And now the protagonist wants to defeat Hojoin.
Yeah, he gets styled on so hard. Hojoin's showing off these crazy fucking tricks this kid's never even heard of before. He does the shoot the moon. He does he does some magic trick looking fucking shit. He does some yo-yo tricks, and this main character is like, I've done yo-yos for 1 week and I can't beat this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then he's determined to do it after that.
Classic shonen protagonist.
Exactly.
So the second episode, he goes to the school. He joins Akuma Kid, and they're trying to track down Hojoin to compete against them.
Yeah,
and it's a funny episode because like the entire police force of Japan apparently shows up to stop them, and so it's a funny bit and all that.
Yeah.
But the gist of the episode is that Hojoin won't battle them, but he kind of respects the protagonist and is like, you need to compete at the Japan Carnival Super Convention of fucking yo-yo bullshit.
So Hojoin he's playing the piano. He's sitting there
right
in a golden sunset bathed classroom, and he's playing the piano. And then what's his ass Sunichi shows up and he's like, hey, battle me again, I've gotten better. And at one point Hojoin says, oh, I don't have a yo-yo, and so he like rolls his yo-yo to Hojoin, and Hojoin picks it up, and he's playing the same song that he was playing with two hands. Now he's playing it with one hand and doing yo-yo tricks at the same time. I play enough piano to know that that's physically impossible what he's doing. But anyway, like those keys are too far apart. You couldn't possibly. Anyway,
well, he's doing his toes come out.
Oh that's probably what's going on there. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But while doing so, he notes that the Hyper Stanley, the Hyper Jordan,
Russell.
the Hyper Russell every single time. The Hyper Russell has been taken care of exceedingly well, like very well maintained. And he sees a spark of potential in young Sunichi, and invites and mentions that he'll be competing at this tournament in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and that implying that Sunichi should join as well.
Yeah. And that kind of puts everything in motion because the next couple episodes are like training type episodes.
Yeah, he meets his Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, exactly.
The constant pisser.
I like this episode and everything, but this is where I'm starting to put together this. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of shonen anime as the result of this podcast and everything.
Yeah.
First episode sets up show.
Yeah.
Right. Second episode that I'm just between this and Demon Slayer is like, guy shows up to be like, you're not ready to be the best at the thing that you want to do. You'll never be best glass blower. Glass blowing's for the blah blah blahs, but maybe if I train you, you could become best glass blower.
There is an anime about glass blowing. It's so fucking boring. I was so stoked on it. And then it came out and I was like, this sucks.
That's funny. I was trying to pick something that there's no way an anime is about.
Oh, no.
I'm
It
wrong.
exists and I've seen some of it. It's called Glass Lip. It sucks. Fucking terrible. Very pretty. It's by the same animation studio that did Hanasaku Iroha.
Oh, okay, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just made the most boring thing.
Yeah, remember when I said like half of their stuff is like glacially paced and impossible to watch?
Yeah.
That is the most so. Like it is the worst.
The most glacial.
Yeah, it is the worst of that.
But so okay, first episode sets up premise, second episode sets up training, and then third episode is the training.
Is the third oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right. Third episode of Super Yo-Yo introduces the nightmarish heavy glove. Which everything I've read about, because from DBZ has the whole thing where Goku wears heavy clothing and heavy what's-a-majig, and that's why he's so strong and everything. Everything I've heard about real life, not that I'm a workout expert or anything, but everything I've heard about real life is that if you do that shit, it will absolutely fuck you up.
There are weighted vests that people will wear for training purposes. And like a vest kind of works more because that's like the closest you can get to just literally adding more pounds to your body weight.
Yeah. Vest seems okay, but like wrist
stuff. Like,
yeah.
because, like physics class, there's a lever and there's a fulcrum. Like, you want that weight to be as centralized as possible. If it's out there on an extremity, then that's adding so much more strain on all the joints connected there. So you're putting a heavy weight as far out on a child's arm as you possibly can. Should explain the Grandmaster Super Ultra Best in Japan Yo-Yo Master Nakamura.
Yeah,
he says his first name. Who gives a shit? It's just a guy who's constantly. It's like he lives in the toy store's bathroom. He just every single time he shows up, in these first few episodes, he does so by walking out of the toy store's bathroom.
Yeah,
he's always pissing.
Him taking huge shits is like a major plot point.
Yeah. I guess we don't know what he's doing in there, but we can assume he's just fat dumps, right?
Just fucking ripping that place apart.
Yeah, fucking dropping huge logs. But then he takes some time out of his busy schedule to see what the kids are doing outside, playing with the yo-yos.
Do the children want to use this place?
So it's like literally he walks out, toilet flush noise, and then he's like, "Oh, you're trying to go join that tournament, huh? Well, how about this?" He gives him a really heavy glove that also makes it really difficult for him to bend his fingers.
Yeah. Well, and that, to kind of jump ahead a little bit here, it's such a weird thing as an adult to watch, because not that there's anything necessarily wrong with like an older person helping a kid get better.
Sure.
But like he walks out and immediately is like, "Hey, I can't train you because you and I are competitors." But then he's like, "No," but the kid's determined. So he's like, "Okay, I will train you." And he gives him this heavy glove that absolutely fucks the kid up.
Yeah.
And it would be very easy to read into that as being like, "Hey, you and I are competitors. Here's a heavy glove. I just ended one of my competitions."
It seems like sabotage.
Right. And for the next couple episodes deals with the heavy glove.
Yeah.
And could absolutely be construed as this is sabotage.
Yeah.
And then in the 6th episode, they're like, "Here's a new yo-yo. Oh, it's brand new. It's from the factory."
The factory.
What factory? The factory.
The good
dude.
one.
It's totally legit, dude. It's really good. Every moment that's supposed to be like, "Oh, this is good," like people are actually trying to help him.
Yeah.
Could absolutely be construed as sabotage.
Yeah, at any moment, like one of them could do a heel turn, and it's like, he's fucked. How's he gonna win? But it's just this weird, like, I don't know how old this guy is. He looks kind of like, especially considering how old adults are drawn in these kids shows, because it's from the perspective of someone like in like the low double digits of 10, 12 years old. Usually, if someone's like 20, they're drawn like a grizzled, middle-aged man. This guy, he looks like kind of just a young man, which makes me unsure if he's supposed to be like 14 or 30. I don't know.
I think he's like supposed to be like college.
You think so?
Is my guess.
Okay.
Because he's not dealing with school at all.
Well, we don't know what the fuck he's doing with his life besides shitting.
And right.
I don't even know when he finds time to yo-yo.
Well, only college.
Can you yo-yo in the bathroom?
Once you go to college, that's where you get to shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the real shit right there.
Yo-yo up until college, and then he shit.
And this is probably incorrect. I assume that Hojoin is older than the protagonist.
He totally is. I think Hojoin is. My hunch is high school. Could be middle school.
Yeah,
but my hunch is high school.
And he refers to plain dressed shit pants man, Master
Nakamura. Yeah.
He refers to Nakamura as Master Nakamura.
Yeah.
Right? And like if they were the same age, right? Like if they were both juniors in high school, that would be fucking weird for you to be like Master Nakamura.
But if he was the
age.
master of yo-yos.
And it could absolutely be the case.
Yeah.
But I assume because if they were the same age, there wouldn't be a senpai master sama thing going on.
Yeah.
Could be absolutely wrong.
He's a good bit taller than everybody too. Like Hojoin is a good bit taller than the main character and his friends, and then Nakamura is like another head and some change taller than Hojoin. So
yeah,
we can assume he's like probably an adult. He can probably buy cigarettes.
He could probably buy cigarettes.
Smoke them in the toilet.
That's why I'm guessing he's probably like 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, so third episode. He gets the glove, like we were saying. Fucks up his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. It has things in it. It's not just that the glove is heavy. It has things in it to make bending your hand harder.
Yeah. It's like resistance training for his grip strength. I do not see how that helps.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I understand the weight a little more. Well, no, maybe the grip strength affects his like wrist, because they say that like later on once he takes the glove off, it's the benefit is that he's created this insane torque on his like wrist flick. Like he can flick his wrist like crazy strong.
Just so hard.
Yeah, he could break your neck with a flick of the wrist.
They bring up the fact that it's not just that the glove covers his hand, but it does cover his wrist as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's part of what makes him so goddamn powerful.
Yeah.
When he does the thing. But the thing that is, again, super sabotagey about it is that third episode / maybe the beginning of the fourth episode, he tries to do the long sleeper, which is where you throw the yo-yo down and you just let it hang out.
Yep.
Can't do it because he hasn't done any yo-yo shit. He's just been living his life with this glove.
Yeah.
And so Nakamura says, I'm only going to let you do the fucking longest sleeper. That's the only move you're allowed to do.
No tricks for a whole week.
For a whole week. And so that lines up basically being you're only allowed to do this for this week. The next day after that week is over, you have to compete in the big yo-yo tournament that you've been wanting to do.
Yeah. So it's like fuck up your hand and your wrist.
Yeah.
And don't practice for 2 weeks and then go to this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it seems like sabotage.
In shonen anime, it's like, that's good. In regular thinking, that's absolute sabotage.
No, I
100%.
think even in shonen anime, like this is, I even as a shonen anime thing, I read it a lot more as like a what's his name from Yu-Gi-Oh, Weevil, whatever, where he's like, oh, hey, can I see those Exodia cards? Ah, ha, ha, I threw him off the boat. And they're like,
if he would have had a voice like any other character in this, because
he's got a dweeby ass voice.
But,
he's like, hey there, how you doing?
But he sounds like Tenchi versus like every other character in this show. This is the same episode where Gon / what I refer to as Goblin Child shows up, where it's like somebody said like, hey, can you do a Meowth? And someone who couldn't do a Meowth voice said yes.
Yeah. It's like someone who's heard Meowth a couple times in his life. Though actually, this show might predate the Pokemon dub. So
I don't think it does, but I could be wrong.
I want to say Pokemon came out the same year, if not the year after.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Pokemon dub was released 1 month before the first episode of the Japanese release. However, I just found out actually the English dub was done in Singapore and only released in 2003. So a whole
Super Yo-Yo?
from Super Yo-Yo.
Oh.
So 5 years later. So yeah, it is incredibly possible that they told this guy like, hey, do your best Meowth. And he's like, Meowth talks like this, right? And they're like, sure, go for it. And
whatever. Yeah, a lot of this feels like very first take kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a necessary slight to the voice actors, because like,
for 4 people, they're doing great.
Yeah, for 4 people, they're doing great. And for 4 people who, like, a lot of them are Yu-Gi-Oh! Voice actors who have heard their chops in Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an example of these people getting good direction.
Yeah.
And this show is an example of them not getting good direction.
I think the goofiness definitely like lent itself, like ended up being kind of a strength of it though. I think it was a lot more enjoyable to watch with this than it would have been if it was like a couple notches better, you know?
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it turned out to kind of be something where it's like, I want to watch Super Yo-Yo with other friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because like this dub is so bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, it is so, or there are a number of characters that are doing a voice of like, oh boy, oh, I just kind of feel like, this is going to go really good. And this guy's a total novice. Oh, we can totally, like, everyone sounds like they've just been like punched in the gut and then has to deliver their line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you've just been stabbed. Tell me how you feel about the yo-yo competition. Like it's so bad in all the right ways.
Absolutely.
Everyone's there are a couple lines where Sunichi, like I swear, like we swear he had a different voice actor. Like
Yeah.
it would be like most of it would be him, but then like there would be a cutaway. He'd be like, he's like, I really love yo-yos. I really love sitting here.
I have to work on my long spinner. Anyway, it's time to go to the competition. Like just
absolutely
back and forth, like out of nowhere.
Yes.
Very, very strange. Yeah, some very strange dubs or like voice choices when it comes to the side characters. That weird circus kid in particular.
Yes,
yeah, that weird
child.
little Goen Mokuba Rex Raptor guy.
Yeah. He's a combination of all of them.
Yeah.
But somehow worse than all of them as well. Yeah, so that's part one of training. And then I think it's the fourth episode has them the master Nakamura being like, you can only do the long sleeper move.
Yep. Yeah. So he's allowed to use a yo-yo again, but he's only able to dribble, essentially. He's only able to do that one thing.
Yeah, because he's still wearing the super heavy glove.
Yeah, and it gets so bad, he has trick withdrawal.
Trick withdrawal.
He's got bags under his eyes. He's staggering around. He's incoherent. He's got it bad.
You get where he's coming from and everything, but God, is it not interesting? Like, everybody else is doing tricks and he's not doing tricks. I get where you're going, but this is not interesting animation.
This could have all been like this entire 2-week period could have all been condensed into half an episode.
Yeah.
Like we could have been through this, halfway through episode 3 and then begun the tournament.
This is too much training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because especially since the show is building up to this like tournament arc kind of thing, like just get there. That's where the show is going to get interesting. Yeah. And no, apparently we're not going to get there because so fourth episode / fifth, I kind of got my notes a little goofed up. So they go to the tournament. Mm-hmm. He gets to take his wrist thing off, and he's like so powerful and everything. But he forgot to submit an application, so he has to do a loop-the-loop battle, which is basically, from what I can tell, just where you spin the yo-yo around in a circle.
I think, as I understand this, if you throw the yo-yo, like you do the long sleeper and then let it swing in a circle, like a full circle, fully extended, that's called an around the world. The loop is where it's not like the string is not entirely extended, and so it's constantly being pulled back in and then like in and out from the string, like constantly. So it's this like, it's again kind of a dribbling competition, but like a different kind of dribbling, I suppose. It's like like one of those soccer juggling competitions, where they like juggle the soccer ball with their feet, kind of thing. But the end result of this is watching 200 something people swing a yo-yo in a circle for a whole episode.
Yeah,
whole episode.
And goddamn, is it fucking boring? Like that, and that's just kind of where it hit its peak, because I can't remember if it's at the beginning of the fourth episode where they start it, or the fifth episode where it happens, but basically it's like an entire audience has to do loops.
Yeah.
Protagonist is battling against the Loop King. So they're both just doing the same move over and over, and there's not enough, like there's a bit of commentary about like how Sunichi is going to be in trouble, but not enough to make it interesting. It's watching two people play chess. and neither of them is making a move. And whoever turn it is, he's been waiting 20 minutes to make a move. And everyone's just like, oh, he could move the pawn there. He could move the knight there. And those are really his only options.
Yeah. He's going to do one of those things.
But it's going to be, he's going to do one of those things.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done either of those things. And we got like 20 minutes until he's just going to keep, okay, well. And that's what I'm getting at. It's so boring to watch people do the same trick. By the end of it, he does it like 1,000 times. Him and the Loop King, they've done 1,000 loops.
Literally.
And that's so many, holy shit.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? He's not a real person. He's a cartoon. Have him do 10,000. It doesn't matter. It's just an arbitrary number.
It's about how much better he got as a result of the heavy glove training he did. He's going to grow up lopsided now, but like just the most severe scoliosis you've ever seen.
Yes.
But he's got some sick nasty yo-yo game right now.
I don't know. It's just so goddamn boring.
Master Nakamura is there and slows everything up by having to go take a shit again. What are they gonna reveal this to be something at some point?
What we're not touching on is the much more interesting story of Hojoin.
Oh, Hojoin and his piano.
So what we haven't touched on is that. So we're following the protagonist of normal shonen anime. That's who we see most of the story through. The more interesting story is Hojoin, who loves yo-yo, is the yo-yo master, is the guy who everybody's trying to beat, and who won the last championship. And his dad is like, don't fucking waste your time doing yo-yo shit. That's dumb bullshit. You should be the piano master. You need to do piano shit.
Yeah, he wants him to become a concert pianist. And like he explains that it's because like, you can bust up your fingers pretty bad doing yo-yos. And so, he can't take that risk. He's got to be a piano prodigy.
Absolutely.
But Hojoin, he ain't having it. He's got to be the yo-yo king.
Yeah, and so it gets to a point where he wins a piano tournament and then has to like rush to a car. That car goes until it gets stuck in traffic, and then he rushes out of the car to get run through the freeway to get to the tournament.
Yeah.
This man is yo-yo determined.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
he's
that
hungry.
It's just so much more interesting than what Shinichi is doing.
I feel like this would have made a far more interesting story. Just following, because I mean, on a lot of levels, like as boring adults, we can be like, fucking focus on piano. Fuck you. What are you gonna do with yo-yos? You're just gonna end up like the weird 22-year-old guy doing yo-yo tricks in front of the toy store. But like, it's what he wants,
Yeah.
And that's an interesting dynamic. But instead, we're following this 10-year-old instead, who's just like, I like yo-yos now, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Who it's like everybody's like, oh wow, you got really good in a short period of time, but it's like, no one is stopping him from, like, he faces no adversity. Like, he's allowed to spend 24 hours doing yo-yos.
His parents don't give a fuck what he's up to.
Yeah, absolutely. His mom would be like, you shouldn't be up this late.
Yeah.
And then that's it, man.
Don't read your yo-yo book at the dinner table.
His parents do not care. Whereas, like, having rich dad who's like, you can't do yo-yo. Yo-yo is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Yo-yo
is a no-go.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to be piano man.
Yeah.
Like it's such a more interesting story of like, why is this guy so good at yo-yo?
Yeah.
And instead we're following the dumbass who has what's more interesting? The story of the guy who faces adversity and is only able to practice yo-yo like 2 hours a day, or the guy who's able to do it 24 hours a day? It's the guy who can barely like find the time for it. Like he's the underdog in a lot of ways, and
except he's already the champ.
That's
apparently,
not, apparently,
yeah,
he's already the best. He's already the blah blah blah. It's like
we're trying to sell this kid as the underdog, but like he's an underdog because he's been practicing for 3 weeks. Like he just found out that yo-yos existed for 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he skips a week of school.
Yeah,
in the first episode.
Puts in a lot of time, kudos to him.
Yeah, which is great, but like I got like D's and C's like my freshman year, and my parents grounded me for basically the entire year.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a relatively normal parent thing to do.
Yeah.
This kid, there's no way Shinichi is not getting straight F's. Like, he shows to school tired. He shows to all that shit. But he gets to be the protagonist because he hasn't been doing it very long.
Yeah.
But he's overly competitive about it. Like, that's the worst nerd. That's the worst guy. The guy who's like, oh, I just started playing Magic, but I'm going to be a dick about the rules now.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude.
There's a baseball anime called Ace of the Diamond, and it's about this kid who ends up getting accepted to this really prestigious private high school that has just a monster baseball team. Like, they have this like ex MLB coach and like just the best state. It's like equipment and field and everything possible. They're just like the best. And like everyone else in their league is like, kids from like, just less fortunate schools. Like not like, dirt poor or anything, but like kids who don't have all that. It's like, I love baseball, but I got to take care, like my parents died and I got to take care of my 2 younger sisters, but like, God damn it, I'm going to try my hardest. And every single like game for the most part is about these like ultra elite dick shits just like kicking the shit out of all these less fortunate kids. And it's like they're the cool guys because they won, but like you're supposed to root for them because like what, they have an ex-MLB guy like coaching them. Like, great. This kind of feels like that on like a very smaller scale.
It just feels like a missed storytelling opportunity where it's like, well, I need to stick to the shonen formula because that's what works, rather than telling the interesting story.
That's a very good point. Yeah. It's like the formula ends up being kind of harmful that way.
Yeah. 4th, 5th episode, they do the loop battle. Loop battle results in him and the loop king getting into they both get to compete in the tournament now. Because
they just been looping so goddamn hard. And also we got to hurry this shit up. Like,
these guys are the best loopers. And then protagonist is like, oh, my fucking yo-yo got damaged. Oh boy. Oh, I guess I gotta use the factory thing. Oh,
the hyper dragon.
And it's too powerful for him. and I do like this bit of like, he's good at yo-yo, but he can't handle the power of the yo-yo dragon. And they keep doing these like overlays of like, the yo-yo dragon's too powerful. And like he tries to catch it and it's like, ugh, it like that hurt my hand because it's so much power.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. And I like that they went from like one stage to another dome, like somewhere else. They rode like Jetsons fucking floor escalator thing to like go from one to the other.
Like they got in the airports,
Yeah, it's like completely unnecessary. It just reminds me of how they went from one tournament area to another in the significantly better Yu Yu Hakusho. That's all I was thinking the entire time. Was like, oh yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho changed venues.
Yeah.
That was a better show.
Yeah. Did I say Yo-Yo Hakusho on the mic already?
You have not. That's the first time.
Yo-Yo Hakusho, am I right?
Yeah, honestly.
Wish I could have found a context to throw that in, but
it's fine. Yo-Yo Hakusho. That's what because that's what the show. I don't want to say is like trying to be, but like it just hits so many similar shonen notes worse.
Yeah, and it's got like just, I don't know, little hints of its presentation, like the music and stuff like that. Like, it just reminds you of it a little bit, Not to say it's a 1-to-1, not to say they're like directly ripping it off, but yeah, like there were multiple points where I'm like, I could be watching Yu Yu Hakusho right now. That'd be a better use of my time.
And that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. Well, okay, we don't need to go too deep into this episode. There's a tournament. They're fighting. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Is protagonist going to be able to get control of the dragon yo-yo in time?
Yeah. He's got to learn how to use it, control it on the fly,
So when we watched the Hajime no Ippo episode, we were like, oh, the tournament arc really kind of ends that they've built up for in the 7th episode. So let's watch the 7th episode.
Oh yeah, the Miata fight. Like you wanted to finish that.
Yeah, absolutely. This episode is built up to something similar, right? Where it's like he's in a battle. How's he gonna get out of this? And the only way we would know is if we watch the 7th episode. Spoiler alert, we did not watch the 7th episode.
I think there is a fundamental difference in the sense that like this is the second round of a tournament that could very well last the rest of this series, like all 22 episodes. At least that's how many are uploaded to YouTube. I don't want to know if there's more. With Hajime no Ippo, like the end of the Miata fight was like kind of its own very self-contained arc. From Ippo finds out about boxing, finds his passion in it, starts training, meets his first opponent, loses, and then gets his revenge match and wins. He gets his first win, and like we can go on from there. You can time skip after that. You're set. This, if we watched episode 7 and he beat that whatever his ass is named, like that's just step 2 in like another 10-step thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe that's not 100. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's not 100% fair. But I just feel like if somebody commented and said like, oh, the whole part of that thing gets resolved in the 7th episode, so you know how the next part of the fight goes. I just don't give a shit. Like, it just
shut up, nerd. I'm not gonna fucking watch that.
Yeah.
I had a good time watching this, but like, no, 6 episodes is more than enough, I think.
Yeah. I guess we can get into the review section of it. We have our rating system. It is keep watching, and total garbage. For me, I desperately want to show this show to Anthony. And if you're listening, Anthony, who used to live at Uncle Junction, I'm gonna force you to watch this show at some point. And I think this is a fun show to like, especially the dub, or specifically the dub, to watch with your friends and be like, oh my god, how did 4 people accomplish this? Oh, this is such a mess. Oh boy. Oh geez. But I'm putting it in the total garbage category.
Total garbage?
Yeah, we can talk about it a bit, but that's where I'm at with it.
I don't know. I can't dunk on this too hard. It's a show made for little kids that itself is now old enough to drink. You know, like that's like I don't know, beating up a dead guy. Like I can't even say total garbage. It's fine for 100%. What it is. I guess. I don't know. I feel like I only give the total garbage to something that I think was an actual, like, unpleasant to watch, like Eat Man or something.
Yeah, I just, and maybe I can be talked out of it. My thinking is, like, I don't want to watch more of this show at all.
Definitely, definitely for me, for sure.
It's definitely for me. But the total garbage just comes from, like, it's so uninventive in these first 6 episodes with how these battles happen. When he's like, we're going to do the longest sleeper. And it's just like, who's going to do the thing longer? Oh, and then the commentary from the characters is like, oh, if this character goes longer, then he goes longer. Oh, but this other character could go longer instead. Oh, geez. Oh, I sure do hope that our protagonist wins.
I think they spend a lot of
it has the potential there to be so like interesting, even in a dumb way.
Yeah,
and they just aren't even getting there.
I think they use the long sleeper moments to talk about the specs of the yo-yos a lot of the time,
but not enough.
It's like he's got a carbon steel core, 30,000 horsepower fucking yo-yo shit thing going on. Like they go into such technical detail. Like I don't even know if it's like what they're talking about is real, but like it went over my head as a 30-year-old. So I'm like, not to say I'm an expert about anything, but like that's a lot to lay on, a kid in the single digits.
Well, but I don't know. I just think it would have made it so much more interesting.
No, you're right. They spend a lot of time doing very uninteresting stuff. And like, if you're going to make an anime about yo-yos, like, at least try to make me think yo-yos are cool,
Yeah.
I didn't get a feeling that yo-yos were very cool by the end of this.
Yeah, because that's my beef. Like, you watch the opening and there are people doing yo-yo tricks that are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that in the show.
Not much.
So the next option is to make it interesting through context, and they don't really make it that interesting through the context.
No.
I just feel like if I had a young kid, there's other shit I would show them. I would show them Yu Yu Hakusho before this.
Sure.
Like, Yu Yu Hakusho is maybe a bit more violent, but like I wouldn't, maybe this is wrong or whatever, but like if I had like a 6 or 7 year old who wanted to like watch anime and watch like some good anime, like yeah, I'd show him Yu Yu Hakusho. Like yeah, it's a bit violent, but like
they'll get over it.
Children can handle violence, whatever. This show is just so dull. It basically is like, do you think Loop the Loops are exciting? Because if you don't think they're exciting, this show is not exciting. They are not gonna spice it up that much.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
This is a yo-yo. This is an anime for yo-yo fans, apparently by yo-yo fans.
Yeah, I think you're kind of starting to sway me on this a little bit. I think like I kind of lump this into the sports anime category, and like there's kind of two main subcategories of sports anime. There's like the educational one and the like ultra radical one. You got your like, I don't know. I would say Hajime no Ippo is like more in the educational one. You learn a bit about boxing, and it's like kind of about the like struggle and drama, like rising the ranks as a boxer. Of course, it gets unrealistic, but not absurdly so a lot of the time. And then you have something like Kuroko's Basketball or Prince of Tennis, where people are doing like this, completely impossible shit from the jump. Like, there's a guy who can make a shot from anywhere on the court. There's a guy who can watch someone's moves and imitate them perfectly. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be in the latter camp. I thought this was going to be, we're going to see people do real dumb shit with yo-yos, and that's going to be fun. But instead, we got a weirdly educational and like faithful to the real life thing adaptation of yo-yos. And they didn't do a good job of making that interesting. And I've watched animes about like, badminton. I'm watching there's one that's airing right now about fly fishing. That's been interesting. Like you can get me interested in just about anything if you put it in an anime and make it like, be educational about it. This didn't do that for me. And maybe it's because I'm already familiar with yo-yos, but I sure as shit ain't going to go out and buy a yo-yo after watching this.
100%.
Maybe that's because I'm an adult, but
Yeah, but like I have no interest in the intricacies of yo-yo. Like it to me, it has just failed on every aspect of what it takes to make an interesting anime.
That's fair.
And if you really, really like yo-yos, this is going to be a really good anime.
Sure.
For people, from what I can tell.
I guess.
I could not get through that professional yo-yo man reaction video. But like it just seems like it's made for those kind of people who are into it. And if you're into it, I'm not dunking on you. I'm not saying you're a fucking idiot, because like this show does seem very faithful to that shit. It's just like, man, if you don't give a shit like about yo-yos, like 98% of the population, like this anime just does not fucking hit. In the aspects where it does hit, other shows just do it better about other shit. Like if you don't know anything about yo-yos, but this sounds kind of interesting, like you could watch Initial D and have a way better time. I don't know anything about cars. Nobody knows shit about yo-yos. And that show's still really cool.
Yeah. No, that's true. It didn't do a lot to get us as non-yo-yoers or throwers. I did look it up, actually. It is r/throwers. You're correct. Okay, now I don't know what's accurate. And maybe it's throwers in the States and spinners in Japan.
Maybe spinners is something else on Reddit.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Maybe. Actually, no, I did search r/spinners. It was something else. I think it might have been cars, like the spinner hubcaps.
Oh, I forget.
The axles, the rims, or whatever.
That makes sense.
No, you're right. I didn't want to. I was hesitant to give it a total garbage because, like, I'm not trying to dunk on a kids show, but yeah. In the interest of being faithful or like, true to myself here, I kind of have to say like, yeah, no, it's garbage. It's not like nobody talks about this show, and I think that's for a good reason. It's very uninteresting. The good music, the animation's not terrible. It was a fun to spend a night drinking beers and watching it. But like, that's about as far as it goes with me. No hate. It's just one of those shows.
Well, that handles Super Yo-Yo.
There you go.
Can you believe that we said, hey, next episode's going to be about Super Yo-Yo, and then we actually did it?
Despite our best intentions.
Yeah, we had another episode.
Our best efforts. Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to try to do another episode that we'll leave secret for now.
Yeah.
And that didn't quite pan out.
It fell through. We might use what we recorded for something, but that's going in the vault for the time being.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But so the next few episodes that we've got planned, we'll go over some things. So we're gonna have we're gonna do a Valentine's episode.
Yep.
And I think it's I'm not gonna remember. I don't have my phone quite next to me, but it's like your wave or sharing your wave or something like that.
Oh, did we decide on that?
We talked about it, so
We
it
talked
might be,
about it.
It might be that one.
Could be.
Anyways,
That's the sad one.
That's the sad one. Well,
Yeah, we'll see.
So, that could work.
Yeah, we had a sad one last year. We'll see.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So there's that one. We'll probably cover something, and then maybe an episode at the end of February, and then maybe an episode at the end of March. Well, depending on how this all shakes out, because things are crazy.
Yeah.
So you can follow. I'm Hentai Pizza Lord on Twitter. I try to post about that. I'm thinking about actually at this point making a Battle School Dropouts like actual Twitter, just so I can be
you think so? Is it that time?
Just for this shit. Just to be like, hey, you don't need to follow me and all my weird shit posts if you want to know what the fuck's going on with our podcast.
Sure. No, that makes sense. That's not a bad idea.
So we'll see. It hasn't happened yet, but if maybe next episode I'll give that one.
Could be in the near future. Yeah. Keep an eye out for that.
How can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at 8mammoth. That's the number 8, and then the dead megafauna mammoth. You can follow me on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/octomammoth, OCTO, the dead megafauna mammoth. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to plug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you do all the music for the show?
I do all the music for the show. If you heard the opening, or if we're fading out into the ending now, then that's me. I did this. Yeah.
It's all him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good shit.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
And then you can also subscribe to this channel if you like this shit. We should be saying this more, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like if you've made it to this point and you like this podcast, you can subscribe.
Yeah.
You're allowed to.
Yeah.
You're legally allowed.
You're welcome. Even we welcome it. We encourage it. Like,
you do that.
and subscribe.
Leave
a comment. Hit the bell.
We're on Spotify. We're on Podbean, and you can like take the RSS to whatever podcast thing you use.
Yeah.
I can't get on iTunes. I spent 3 hours dealing with people trying to get on iTunes. I can't do it. Apparently we're the only podcast in the world that has some weird fucking tech issue.
You're out of luck, Apple people. Get fucked.
Yeah, get
Eat
fucked.
shit. We don't like you.
Apple, you want us on iTunes? That's your problem.
Yeah. What's the guy's name? Tim Cook? Is that
Tim Cook?
That's the Apple guy.
No, I'm still gonna go after Steve. Hey,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Eat
Let
shit,
us on,
guy.
Dude. We're coming for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. I'm posting shorts every week at this point that are like highlights. So
they're dope. I'm really liking those. Yeah.
I'm really happy with how they're coming together.
Even though I'm just propagating just false facts on them.
Who gives a shit, man? This whole podcast.
Yeah. I'm just lying to the American people.
You know how many times we probably lied on this podcast? Like
yeah.
This specific one that people just listen
to? Like this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot, probably.
So many.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. We are the fake news podcast.
Platypi? Are platypi venomous?
I think they are.
I think they
they're
are.
Weird as shit,
yeah.
dude.
So that's another venomous mammal. They're monotremes.
Damn.
Yeah. Echidnas are also monotremes. I thought they were marsupials for a while. I found out recently that marsupials and monotremes are actually.
What the fuck's a monotreme?
It actually, I think echidnas and platypi are like the only members of that group, but I think they're distinguished by they are mammals, but they hatch out of eggs.
Yeah. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, they're just weird little freaks.
Yeah, platypus are weird as fucking hell.
All hell, yeah. Yeah. So are echidnas.
Yeah.
They have 4-headed penises.
Man, it is so weird how every animal in the world has a different weird, crazy penis.
I found out about duck penises. I've never been the same.
Duck penises are insane. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a corkscrew. How do you evolve that?
Yeah, just Google penises, guys. Like, there's so many different. Yeah.
You can find all sorts of, it's crazy. Yeah. You have fun with that. Battle School Dropouts. Google penises. That's our message to you going into 2022. That's the energy we're keeping this year.
Honestly, that's our new slogan.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, enjoy 2022, everybody.
Yeah. Go Google that penis.